Joining those of us here physically is Facebook Live. So everybody, let's scream for Facebook Live. Let's let them know we're here. I say Tim, you say Walz. Tim? Walz. Tim? Walz. Tim? Walz. There we go. Well, I'm going to start our program here because we've got a tight program before the debate starts at 8 o'clock. But I'm going to quickly introduce our VIPs joining me this evening. We've got President Becky Pringle from the National Education Association. Fedrick Ingram from the AFT Secretary-Treasurer. And Randi Weingarten, President of AFT. But that's not all. We have other VIPs joining us tonight. Let's give it up for our sister, Bernie Burnham, the president of the Minnesota AFL-CIO. Someone who has been with us so many years and is now working at AFT, Mary Catherine Rooker is here. How many of you watched the DNC? Okay, were you watching when Minnesota Teacher of the Year 2019, Jess Davis, sang the national anthem? She's here! Give it up for Jess in the back! This is going to be an exciting night, and I'm going to turn it over to our speakers in a minute. But for those of you from Minnesota, I want you to think back to when we first elected Tim Walz, governor of our state. I don't know about you, but I remember just feeling so proud. My heart swelled. I remember getting up the next day with so much pride because I finally felt seen. Like, oh my gosh, he's one of us. And he's going to the governor's office. And I really thought that was it. I thought, okay, we have done something cool. I could be just done right now and call it a day. But guess what? When I saw this summer that our teacher governor was going to be on the ballot with Kamala Harris, I felt that pride all over again. And I felt all of you standing up straighter, walking a little bit more proud, because you know how hard it is to be an educator these days. And so we are going to cut through all of that. We are going to work our tails off. We are going to make sure that educators get out to vote, and that we have a teacher in the White House. I hope you enjoyed our program tonight. I hope you enjoy the debate, and let's get the program rolling. So, I think Becky is going to lead off next. Becky.
How you feeling, Minnesota? Well, I can't tell you how exciting it is to be here in the home of Tim Walz as he kicks J.D. Vance's, but not just that, you know, as he kicks J.D. Vance's ass. Wipe the floor with him. That's what he's going to do. And you know, here's the thing. What I love talking about Governor Walz. Denise reminded me of when I was here in Minnesota campaigning for him when he was running for governor. And she sent me a picture. And I had my shirt on, Educators for Walz shirts, like the vintage shirts and shirt Denise has on tonight. And there was Tim standing next to me in what? What did he have on? Yeah, that's what he had on. And I have used that picture when people ask me, is that really him? Is he really like that? And I said, yes, he is. Yes, he is. What you see is Tim Walz. And not only that, but Tim Walz gets shit done. I clearly think I'm in Philly right now. But here's the thing. We know, certainly here in Minnesota, what's at stake. And we don't need to talk about all of that. We know that, people talk about Project 2025, and they say that it's the blueprint for. But I need you to change people's words when they say that. It's actually the legacy of. It's the legacy of Donald Trump. He already did it. He already instituted so many of those policies that we then saw showing up in our states and our locals. All of that he did. So we don't have to say we don't know what's going to happen, because it already happened. And he can try to deny all he wants that he doesn't have anything to do with it, but he already did it. So we know what's coming. But here's the thing. As we talk about a Harris-Walz administration, doesn't that just sound great to say it? We can also talk about the two of them and their legacy, what they've already done. They've already put educators first. They've already done that. Kamala Harris cast the deciding vote in the passage of the American Rescue Plan that brought $200 billion to our public schools. So many of you joined us in our walk-ins yesterday when we talked about what that will mean when we lose those dollars. But we know with a Harris-Walz administration, they're going to invest in a way that it's sustainable and permanent. That's what we're fighting for. They're not afraid of the mega Supreme Court. They're not afraid. Now, we're going to change that. Let's be clear. But they're not afraid of that. So even after they made their ruling and tried to stop President Biden and Vice President Harris for the work they did on student loan forgiveness, did they stop? No, they did not. We had our board member. We had about 10 board members raising their hands just a few days ago. One of our board members, what was it, Marty? $187,000 loan forgiven. Changing people's lives. Now, you would think you wouldn't have to talk about their commitment to children being healthy and being fed. But we got to talk about that. And we have but to look at here in Minnesota, right? Universal free meals for the students in Minnesota. You wouldn't think you'd have somebody saying, let's take food out of the babies' mouths. But that's what we got, isn't it? We know that with a Harris-Walz administration, that we will take those steps forward to building that better America. That we will lean into the poetry of our Constitution, we the people. We the people, all of us deserve that right. So when you tell your stories, it's not just about the terrible and the horrible and the mean and the evil and the hatred of another Donald Trump presidency. You get to tell real stories about real students and the educators who have dedicated their lives to those students and to their communities. You get to tell those stories and lift up what you are fighting for. That's what this election is about. I cannot tell you how proud I am to represent, along with my sister, Randi Weingarten, the members here in Education, Minnesota. Can we, for a moment, give it up for one Denise Specht? Oh, my God! Yes! 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 Woo! You make us so proud every day. You help us see what's possible. And so not only will you be doing the work here in Minnesota, because you have work to do here in Minnesota. You have elections from the school board all the way up, right? So you have work to do here in Minnesota. You're going to help us win the presidency. But we know that you are also reaching out to Wisconsin. and you're reaching up to Minnesota. This is Minnesota. To Michigan, that other MC. that other MC. You are leaving nothing on the table. So when you hear me say, which many of you do, that we're going to win all the things, we're going to win all the things. And we're going to do it because we know that our children, our babies are depending on us. When I say win all the things, I do mean winning pro-public education, pro-union, pro-educator, pro-LGBTQ+, pro-women, pro-freedom people who are elected all up and down that ballot. I mean that. I mean that. But it doesn't stop there. When I say win all the things, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to claim that right here tonight. We're going to claim it. But when I say it, I mean we're winning all the things for our students. We're winning all the things for our colleagues. We're winning all the things for our communities and for this country. That's why we're getting up every day and knocking on doors and making those phone calls and telling our stories and convincing people that we do have a way forward, and it is Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. That's what we will do every day for 35 more days. And wake up, Minnesota! Thank you. Oh, Fed. I think you're next. Fed next. Yep, Fed's next.
Put me in, coach. 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 All right. How's everybody doing? All right, I'm going to be super quick, super fast because you all want to hear from the presidents. But I'm going to enlist the help of my president right now, and she is going to kill me after this, but that's okay. So, Randy, I need you to stand right here against that wall right there, okay? Right there against that wall. Denise, I want you to get that out of my jacket. See my jacket right there? What's in there? Look at that. Oh, there you go. I believe that symbolism is everything, right? And so we got a coach. Randy has probably never thrown a football in her life, but she's going to throw one tonight. You okay? All right? Yo, you're going to throw it to me, okay? I'm going to give it to you, and you're going to throw it to me. And, wait. Oh, there you go. All right? And in true symbolism fashion, I'm going to pass it to Becky. There you go. And so we're all good, right? Because we're all in this together. We're all in this together. And it's going to be every person, every door knock, doing some things that you've never done before.
That's right.
Doing some things that are unreal. Making sure that you get out to every single corner, every single family, every single place, every single person that you can touch. You need to do that. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, but in my church they say the choir needs a song too sometimes. Okay? So we need your help tonight. And remember, we're not going back, right? We're not going back. We're not going back. So let's have some fun. I heard we're going to hear the word weird a couple times tonight. I heard we're going to hear some good stuff about public schools. Just remember this. Tim Walz knows how to write a lesson plan. He knows what it's like to have 30 minutes for lunch. He knows what it's like to go to a faculty meeting. He knows what it's like to have kids on Friday night and Saturday night waiting on their parents at 1 o'clock in the morning. He knows how to care and be empathetic to our children. That's who we're voting for. That's what this is about. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you're going to introduce this young lady, and I'm going to get out y'all way. Let's bring up Randi Weingarten.
What he doesn't know is I used to play quarterback in touch football. You know, Dykes and Park Slope. Somebody got that. So, and what Tim Walz also knows how to do is lunch duty.
That's right.
So I like this. This is great with the football.
There you go. There you go.
Wait, the football's in the bus, right?
Yes, it is.
Fantastic.
Put us in, coach.
So we've all said everything already. But let me just say one more thing, which is, number one, it is so great actually 3 more things. It is so great to be here together, because what we're showing is that from coast to coast, we understand the stakes in this election.
That's right.
And that when we come together, the 2 unions that represent literally any educator that wants to be represented, we're saying something about being here together the night that Tim Walz is debating that Schmendrick. Sorry, I'm not going to curse tonight. Too many people are on FaceTime Live. And think about, and that's part of the reason I wore this shirt today, the shirt that says, well, you can read it. Because, as Denise said, and as anyone who has campaigned for Tim Walz knows, look, it's not perfect. And we're out there sometimes fighting him and fighting them and fighting to get something better, like pensions and health care and more funding in this city, like and in this state, like you all did yesterday. But when you have someone who actually understands that teaching children is God's work, that teaching children means what we need to do in a positive, proactive way for the next generation, and that public schooling, remember he said, never underestimate a public school teacher, and that public schooling is what is the guardian of democracy. It is the pluralism that this country is supposed to be about. It is the anchor of economic opportunity. It is the engine of dreaming. It's all of that. And every time he gets up, you know he knows that in his bones. The last thing I'll say is Denise is looking at me. No, I know.
You go over that 2 minutes.
Exactly. The last thing I'll say is this. And we have this little chart now, an economic chart, not an education chart, but an economic chart, about Kamala and Tim's proposals versus the other guy's proposals, or lack thereof. Basically, just like on public, the concepts. But these are worse than concepts. These were actually plans he espoused. Think about, forget the evil and the mean and the dystopian. Think about what he is trying to do to this country. Tax cuts for the rich, tariffs for the middle class. What she and Tim are trying to do, create intergenerational wealth. Marcia, you taught me this a long time ago about housing. And you think about what she said about making sure that every family could have $25,000 for down payment on a house. What Becky just said about student debt. What she has said about medical debt. Think about when we think about opportunity, and this is our members as well as everyone else in the country. They have a plan to lift the middle class. They have a plan for opportunity for all. They know our kids. They know us. They understand opportunity. And so why is this race so freaking close? And that is where we all come in. Because progress is possible, not guaranteed, as the suffragists said. The only way we guarantee it, the only way we can have that progress so we can have fights with them to get all of the things. The only way we can have that progress is if we, in the next 35 days, use our teacher moxie, meet constituents, voters, where they are, and bring them and find them that light, that caring that they all have about wanting a better life. It's a trust election, not a truth election. And that means we, all of us, The job we do in classrooms, we have to do with knocking doors. In convincing people, as Becky said, that there is light, that there is a future. And you know it in this room. We know it around the country. And if we do our jobs, progress will happen. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, let's give it up to our speakers again. And to all our VIPs that are here tonight. I really want to thank AFT and NEA for joining us tonight. This was just absolutely amazing. And I also want to thank all of you for being here in person or on Facebook Live. And lastly, thank you so much to the Edmonds staff, the AFT staff, the NEA staff for putting this all together. It's going to be great. A few housekeeping things. So